There is a liberal establishment running this country, and at the end of the day, they do what is in their own electoral interest. A lot of people in this country are sick and tired of it.
David Lammy, often celebrated for his sharp mind in foreign affairs, just got an humiliation from a bold British caller on live radio. Honestly, it's shocking. How did such an experienced figure get cornered on air like that?
What I'd like to point out is the hypocrisy.
This twist brutally peeled back Lammy's usually impeccable facade, revealing some real flaws. Believe me, it's a moment worth noting.
There is a liberal establishment running this country, and at the end of the day, they do what is in their own electoral interest.
But if you don't know why this call is such a big deal, let me break it down for you. So, David Lammy, currently the Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs, is a heavy hitter in British politics. His career, spanning over 2 decades, has seen him lead key policy discussions and reforms. Known for his sharp wit and dedication to human rights and social justice, Lammy's voice carries weight far beyond Parliament's walls.
Which is why you've got a rampant, out-of-control culture war that we've had. What I'd like to point out is the hypocrisy.
That's why on this fateful day, listeners expected the usual sharp debates from a live radio show known for its deep dives into current issues. But the air crackled with tension when a caller, just a concerned citizen, took the mic. The caller, calm but intense, threw the first punch by accusing Lammy of playing part in a liberal establishment that prioritized political point scoring over real issues, a sentiment echoing the frustrations of many.
In that Liberal centre, I incorporate Rishi Sunak's Conservatives, the Liberal Democrats, and the Labour Party.
Lammy, caught off guard, stumbled initially, but quickly gathered himself to defend his track record and the intentions behind his party's policies. However, the caller wasn't having it, pushing Lammy on perceived inconsistencies, turning what should have been a routine call into a high-stakes verbal duel. This wasn't just another radio spat, it was a raw showcase of the tightrope politicians walk, balancing public approval with personal conviction. During the radio showdown, the caller pulled no punches, outright accusing David Lammy and his cohorts of hypocrisy and self-serving tactics.
What I'd like to point out is the hypocrisy.
He laid it all out there, how politicians seem to chase their careers and party agendas over the public's actual needs, a complaint that's been brewing among voters for quite some time. This was no fluffy critique. It was a sharp jab at the very heart of political integrity, suggesting that too often, political maneuvers benefit those in power at the expense of real leadership.
What I'd like to point out is the hypocrisy.
The public's reaction was immediate and visceral. This kind of straight talk strikes a chord with those fed up with political doublespeak, who believe that many in office are more obsessed with power plays than sound policies. The caller's intensity conveyed not just personal annoyance, but echoed a wider, shared frustration with political shenanigans.
A lot of people in this country are sick and tired of it. A lot of people in this country, I think.
As he made his case, the caller didn't just throw around baseless claims, he came prepared with specifics. He brought up recent legislative sessions and public speeches by figures like Lammy, arguing that they reveal a gap between what politicians say and what they do. These weren't random points. Each was a calculated strike to highlight alleged hypocrisy with solid proof.
You would describe Rishi Sunak's Conservatives as liberal?
Yes, I don't believe in this division between Team Red.
News outlets jumped on the bandwagon too, each spinning the story according to their own bias. Some commended the caller's guts, while others scrutinized Lammy's defensive tactics, painting the moment as a significant challenge for him. From in-depth newspaper analyses to spirited TV debates, the media dissected every angle, pondering what this meant for political transparency and accountability.
Team and Team Blue, as far as I'm concerned, there is a liberal establishment running this country, and at the end of the day, they do what is in their own electoral interest, which is why you've got a rampant, out-of-control culture war that we've had.
This surge of support for the caller wasn't just a fleeting moment of online activism. It reflected a deep-seated exasperation with the status quo in politics. To many listeners, it felt like the caller was standing up for them, directly confronting power in a way that rarely happens so openly and unfiltered. This groundswell is indicative of a broader shift in public expectations. People are demanding more honesty and responsibility from their leaders.
A lot of people in this country are sick and tired of it. A lot of people in this country, I think.
The ripple effects of this encounter could reshape political dialogue. It served as a stark reminder to politicians that they are under constant watch and that voters are ready to call them out. It also highlighted the critical role of media as a platform for public debate and a tool for democratic engagement. The live radio showdown David Lammy endured wasn't just a fleeting moment of discomfort. It set off a media frenzy, with each of his responses meticulously picked apart for hints of political damage control.
That's really what people want. That's the extremism that I'm talking about. I think I remember my own name, David.
The intense scrutiny from the public suggests this isn't something they'll forget anytime soon, potentially swaying voter trust and confidence in his leadership. As Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs, Lammy's credibility is paramount, and this ordeal could seriously sway his standing within the Labour Party and impact his future, be it in elections or party reshuffles. The intense scrutiny from the public suggests this isn't something they'll forget anytime soon, potentially swaying voter trust and confidence in his leadership. As Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs, Lammy's credibility is paramount, and this ordeal could seriously sway his standing within the Labour Party and impact his future, be it in elections or party reshuffles. But the implications ripple out further, casting shadows over the Labour Party and the wider political landscape. Traditionally championed as the voice of the working class and social justice, the Labour Party now faces a real test, aligning its leaders' public actions and profiles with its core values. This incident could force a tough introspection, possibly recalibrating how the party approaches its strategies and public messaging in upcoming campaigns. This confrontation also reignited the debate on political accountability, underscoring a surging demand for politicians to be more forthright and transparent. The public's clear message is that they expect their leaders not just to address their concerns, but to do so genuinely.
White Caribbean populations who have been there for hundreds of years, and they are significantly more Caribbean than I am.
This growing insistence on authenticity could nudge political communication towards more transparency, reshaping how politicians interact with both the public and the media. These events often redefine perceptions of political figures. A politician's failure to effectively engage with criticism can diminish their stature, whereas adept handling of such challenges can boost their public image.
All sorts of people have passed through. So when you say you are English, I'm not saying that doesn't mean something to you and matter hugely.
It does.
Because there are probably, as you put it, years and years, hundreds of years.
For Lammy and his peers, the path to recovering public trust hinges on showing real dedication to tackling the issues the public raises. Zooming out to broader societal implications, Lammy's unique background as both Caribbean and English is pivotal in his public and political narrative. His life story, reflecting a modern, diverse Britain, informs his views on race, immigration, and national identity, positioning him as a key voice in discussions about what it means to be British today.
You are African Caribbean.
But why will I never be English?
Because you're African Caribbean.
These conversations extend beyond Lammy's personal story, influencing the broader discourse on diversity and inclusion in the UK.
It's a myth that there's one English ethnicity. There's not, because England has always been a country.
They challenge entrenched notions of Englishness and push for a redefinition of national identity that embraces the country's multicultural reality.
I said that gently, but it could have been horrendous. Let's be clear about that. And here I am, having grown up in this country, have been born of this country, and actually, the truth is, it's a myth.
As the societal and demographic landscape evolves, so too does the dialogue around identity, necessitating ongoing reflection and conversation.
Britain, 400 years ago, started going out into the world. It colonised and conquered a lot of the world. A lot of the world has ended up coming back to the mother country. My parents were part of that generation.
Moreover, Incidents like this spotlight on Lammy's dual heritage, foster deeper discussions on inclusivity and representation in British politics. They prompt a reassessment of how diverse identities are woven into the nation's fabric, affecting how people view diversity and what they consider to be a true representation of Englishness.
For me, the fact that I was born here and the fact that my sensibilities are English mean that I want to claim that heritage as well. Now, I'm very comfortable saying I'm British, black British, of course I am, and I'm very, very proud. No one could say I wasn't, because I talk about it all the time.
In essence, this incident has not only affected David Lammy on a personal and political level, but has also sparked crucial national debates on accountability, identity, and inclusivity. These discussions will persist, shaping public perceptions and political dynamics in Britain, highlighting the significant impact such public confrontations can have on individual careers and broader societal challenges. But this isn't the end of the drama. Hit subscribe and like if you're ready for more fiery confrontations like this one.